We have a lot of thoughts over the course of our day. According to this study, people have more than 6,000 thoughts per day. That's quite a lot. If you usually sleep for 8 hours, that's over 6 thoughts per minute, or more than one every 10 seconds. There are a lot of things you can think about during your day, like what should I wear? Should I eat that candy? Do I feel like reading a book today? Or I feel absolutely great. What a terrible morning. I look awful. I hate my job. The thing is, if you look closely at the thoughts you usually experience, you may notice patterns. They are called schemas or schematas. It's a concept used in psychology and cognitive science. Schema is a pattern of our thoughts that organizes information and the relationships between its pieces. If it doesn't sound simple, here's an example. You definitely know what is a stereotype. Imagine a librarian. What type of person comes to your mind? Maybe a quiet, shy, and intelligent guy. Of course, not every librarian is like that. The chances are you've met a lot of librarians who had such qualities or seen them in movies. Such a stereotype is a consequence of your mind organizing knowledge you have and providing a framework for the future. And it doesn't necessarily mean something bad or stupid. It's the way our mind reduces workload and makes some new things you meet easier to explain. What's even more interesting is such thinking patterns can remain unchanged even if you face some facts that contradict them. You may meet a librarian who looks and acts like Hulk, but still your stereotype may be unharmed. So, in simple words, schema is a shortcut our mind takes, which can save substantial amount of time and effort, but it can be wrong. According to the ideas of cognitive behavioral therapy, negative thinking can lead to negative feelings. So basically, thoughts provoke feelings and emotions. And as you might guess, some of your thoughts can be wrong. And what if you experience such thoughts and believe them on a regular basis? There is actually a term for that: cognitive fusion. It means that you accept your thoughts as true. The thing is, you should know the difference between them and what actually happened. It's not always the same. Here's an example. You're given a speech and suddenly notice a person who looks quite disappointed. You immediately think that everybody dislikes what you're saying, or maybe that you're bad at that. Or maybe you even think that you're a complete failure and can't even give a 3-minute speech. But you shouldn't be so sure about those statements. Maybe that guy had a rough day and is still thinking about an argument with his friend, but you're already blaming yourself. By the end of this video, you will be able to recognize cognitive distortions which the person from the example made. And before we jump to the list of most common ones, I want to remind you that we all make such mistakes. You're not alone. You can experience these errors on a day-to-day basis, and I can too. It's natural. We can't really take total control of our thoughts. They come and go without asking for our permission, but what we can do is become aware that they are just thoughts and aren't necessarily true. By the way we make judgments, we can reduce the amount of errors we make on a daily basis. Cognitive distortions are thoughts that cause individuals to perceive reality inaccurately. Those patterns can take a toll on our mental health. Often you don't even notice them in the first place. You might think, no way I make these mistakes on a regular basis. I'm too rational for that. Maybe you are, but the chances are, at one time or another, you experience some of them. I guess that's enough for the introduction. Let's get it. Black and white thinking, also known as all or nothing thinking, or polarization, or dichotomous thinking. Actually, it's pretty easy to understand what this distortion is about from how it's called. You kind of perceive the world around you only in two colors, black and white, and there is nothing in between. No shades of gray, only black and white, good and bad, gorgeous and ugly, super successful or a total failure, superhuman intelligence or absolutely dumb. So you should be perfect, and perfectionism can be damaging. It may even play an important role in clinical depression. Meeting extremely high expectations is not an easy assignment. One wrong step, and so how all or nothing thinking looks in real life. Of course, I'm going to provide you with examples for every distortion I'm going to talk about today. Imagine you're a basketball player. You work hard every day, and finally it's time to show the people around you your skill. Your team dominates the competition because of you. You really like your skill and your self-esteem skyrockets. Then you get to play in your local mini league finals and lose. What happens next is thoughts rushing through your head, convincing you that you're a bad basketball player, only because you haven't become a champion this season. Filtering. You are seeing only a dark side of the story. You're focusing only on the negative aspects of the situation. Sometimes you can't accept your failures or even accomplishments. They all may seem demoralizing to you from time to time. For example, not only you're a great basketball player, you're an academic weapon. You like studying and you're really good at it. It's time for your final exam. You've been waiting for this moment for months. Again, you've been working hard and expected a great result. And it did turn out to be great. You've got 95 out of 100, but you're not content. You can't believe you've made some stupid mistakes at the end of the exam. So instead of celebrating a little, you become frustrated. Over generalization. You find patterns where there aren't any. Even if it's two completely unrelated events, you still manage to find the connection. You couldn't hit your new bench press personal record, then you're weak and you will never gain muscle. And not only you were a bad athlete, you're bad at anything you're doing. Nothing ever goes as planned. This distortion is really tough to deal with. Overgeneralization not only can affect the way you perceive the things you've already done, but also can make you think that you will never achieve something in the future. Personalization. With this distortion, you blame yourself for something you can't control or not responsible for. Imagine you have a son who gets into a school fight, and you're blaming yourself after finding out what happened. You think you're a bad father or mother, even though you paid close attention to him growing up and surrounded him with love and respect. You don't want to talk to him about that situation because you think that it's entirely your fault. Actually, this example came to my mind pretty quickly. I've seen similar situations with someone's parents many times. Labeling. This is the last one. You've heard stories of celebrities who were judged as being a failure or were told that they would never succeed in the future. There are lots of successful people who heard such judgments on the early stages of their careers. You can easily find them on the internet in a couple of minutes. Sometimes we want to put a label on someone because of what he did only once. You saw a stranger who dropped an empty pack of crisps on the street. What things come to your mind? Maybe you immediately want to call him names and label him as a bad person. Or you want to call yourself weak because of that failed bench press PR. Alright, let's recap. Possibly more than 6,000 thoughts come to our minds on a daily basis. Some of them may turn into patterns called schemas, which means organizing knowledge you have and providing a framework for the future. Negative schemas are important to look at. Thoughts are just thoughts, and you shouldn't always take them for granted. Accepting your thoughts as true is sometimes called cognitive fusion. Becoming aware of some of cognitive distortions you experience is important in order to judge them and take needed action. I talked about 5 cognitive distortions. Of course, there are more of them than that. First one was all or nothing thinking, which means thinking about the situation only as either black or white and nothing in between. Second one, mental filtering, neglecting some aspects of the event that occurred, kind of focusing only on the negative side. Next one, overgeneralization, which means finding a connection where there isn't any. Personalization, blaming yourself for something out of your control. And last one, labeling, putting a fixed label on other people or yourself. Subscribe and watch other videos if this one was helpful, and have a good day.